So if I had all that, what would you do with it, Navneet? You would collect like terms. So what would you do? You would do it in your head, obviously. You guys aren't stupid. You're my honors class. Of course you would do this in your head. But if you were in grade 9 and I was teaching you this, what would I make you do until you were good enough to do it in your head? You'd make you write it out. And what would you do? What would you put together? You would put 6x with 10x and 3y minus 2y, right? And what would you get? 16x plus 1y, because 3 minus 2 is positive 1 still, right? Everybody cool? You'd all do that in your sleep, right? Oh, you got the right answer without even writing it down, yeah? Okay, now, watch. 6 root 3 plus 3 root 2 plus 10 root 3 minus 2 root 2. Pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Because what do I have here and here? What do we call that big number that multiplies the thing right after it? Coefficient. And they're multiplying the same thing, aren't they? So what would you do with this one? Same darn thing. It would be 6 plus 10 because they're both root 3, right? So you would get 16 root 3. Just like you don't change this x when you're adding, you don't change a radical when you're adding. And then, of course, the other one would be 3 root 2 minus 2 root 2, which would get you plus 1 root 2. Everybody good? That's it. Now, the problem is, are you allowed to forget about everything else you've done in math so far? Of course not. So, all that stuff we know about simplifying, we got to bring to the party here as well. So the first couple are very easy. Do them in your sleep. Do them in your head. What is A? 3 root 3. In her head right away. Why is it 3 root 3? Because that's 1 root 3, because there should be a 1 there, plus 2 root 3's. To get 3 root 3's. What's B? 8 root 6. Great, we're working in our sleep. No problem. What about that one? What goes together? The 7's all go together, yeah? So what is it? Negative 2 root 7 plus root 2. I can't go any further, can I? That's the same as x and y. Everybody good? And D, what do you get? Negative root 6, because we don't write a 1. Negative 2 root 3. Now, I heard somebody say plus negative 2 root 3. That's fine. It's the same thing, right? Adding a negative is the same as subtraction. Is everyone okay when they look the same? Okay. Now, you guys should be smart kids. You guys should be looking at this and saying, why did I use 6 and 3? Because I could have used any numbers, right? I could have used 5 and 12. Why would I use 6 and 3 there? What am I trying to fool you into doing with 6 and 3? Doing something with them, because 3 and 6 are multiples of each other, aren't they? But there's nothing to be done there because they don't get any simpler and they never are going to look the same. Is everyone okay with that? I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. I want to move on to something a little more complicated. All right, so let's do so. This should be your guys' next page, or next question. Can those go together? No. Of course not. But you should recognize both of those can be simplified, can't they? When should you simplify in math class? When? Every single question. You should be looking to simplify something, right? Always. It's not even something that I should be saying as a step. You should always be trying to simplify. So let's simplify. What does 32 become? There's a lot of ways you could do it. I'm going to go 16 times 2. Why would I say 16 times 2? Because 16 has a square root. What is it? 4. So out comes 4, and I get 4 root 2, yeah? And what is 8? 4 times 2. What's the square root of 4?
2.
So what comes out?
2.
2 root 2. Now, 4 root 2 plus 2 root 2. What do I get?
6 root 2.
6 root 2. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, yeah? So easy, right? Once you know how to simplify a radical, you don't even need this lesson, do you? I could have given you all these notes yesterday and said this part of your homework. You would have been fine, right? Go. Do B. Some of you had already started B. Everybody good? Now, sometimes in my 17 years of teaching this, kids get frustrated when they're simplifying radicals. And they get frustrated because they see the person sitting beside them doing it way faster than they are, and they think they're doing it wrong. You're not doing it wrong if you're breaking down into factor trees. You've just taken longer to get the job done, okay? It's like saying, well, I can run a marathon, but it takes me 3 hours, so I'm lame. No, of course not. You're still running the marathon, right? So don't worry about it if you're not seeing the squares and cubes as quickly as the person beside you. It's just like factoring, right? Sometimes the kid beside you says, it's 8 and 7. -8, +7. And you're like, understand? You're like Daniel in the play we just saw, every time the hot girl talked to him. If you don't know what I'm speaking of, then that joke means nothing. Although I got to say, the playwright of that play that's a pretty slick move, pulling the tortured artist thing and then getting her phone number. Not that I would ever pretend to be more sensitive than I really am so a girl would talk to me. No. Whoa, crazy man. All right. All right. Is C any different?
No.
No, it's not. It's exactly the same question we just wrote, except I put some coefficients in front of it, yes? So what is the answer now? It's still 4 times 7, it's still 9 times 7, and it's still 16 times 7. So what comes out? The 2, the 3, and the 4. So what do I get instead? 10 root 7 minus 9 root 7 plus 8 root 7. And I end up with 9 root 7. Is everybody good? Yeah? We're all cool? All right. Now look at D and tell me what's weird. A letter. But we know how to deal with letters. Does it change anything? No. What am I looking for there? Groups of 2. Do I have any 2s with the letters? So the letters aren't going to change, are they? Is there a square root of 4? What is it? 2. What did I leave under there? C. Minus, is there a square root of 9? What did I leave under there? C. What comes out? 3. 3 times 4 is 12 root C. What's 2 minus 12? -10 root C. Everybody cool? Nothing changes. All right? Now, one thing I do want to explain to you guys is something like this. What if I gave you this? 20x root 20x minus 3 root 45x. Now, we can do this, right? Because we just did it. But as you go further in math, you're going to have to start recognizing some things. For example, this. What isn't allowed to be under a radical sign? I can't have a negative under there, can I? So, am I all right to say that x could be any number here? Really? No, because I can't have a negative under there, right? So as you go further in math, you're going to see questions written differently. They'll add to this, and they'll say x has to be greater than or equal to 0. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because were x a negative, then I would have a negative square root there, and that's not cool. Everybody understand? I just want you to be aware that as you go through your assignments, you're going to see things added to the question that might not make sense to you until you have a look at it. So this would be 4 times 5, and the x isn't getting touched, is it? And 45 is 9 times 5, right? And then we would do it normally. 2 root 5x minus 9 root 5x to get negative 7 root 5x. Is everyone cool with that? All that changed is I warned you that sometimes weird stuff like that is going to show up in the questions. Everyone's good? Okay. Now the next thing I want to show you is similar to what we just said. Now as soon as I say, are you allowed to have a negative, or what aren't you allowed under a radical sign? Right away, somebody said negatives. You can't have a negative. And you're totally right, because you can't have a negative square root, can you? So this is not allowed, is it? Okay. What about this? 4th root of a negative. Would that be allowed? No. Because as soon as you do negative, 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 you're back to positive, aren't you? So that's not allowed. So let me ask you this. What about the 6th root of a negative? Is that allowed? So what's the pattern? Even numbered roots can't have a negative. But you guys are smart kids. What about this? That's okay, isn't it? Because negative 2 cubed is negative 8, isn't it? So I can have a cubed root of negative 8, can't I? Now you guys are smart kids. Does a 5th root of a negative work? Obviously. 7th? Yeah. Obviously. They are all green ticks. Or green arrows. Because I like that show. I didn't like that show until I started watching The Flash, and now I like that show. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie to you, guys deserve to know. I watch Supergirl because Melissa Benoist, is that her name? She's so cute. I'm so in love with her. I didn't watch Glee. I stopped watching Glee. I used to watch Glee. I don't mind saying it. But once, what's his name, died? Finn? I was like, no, it's too sad. I can't watch that show anymore because I love that guy. He was so cool. What? Glee? What is she on about? You're going to see what? Huh? All right. Okay. Now, guys, this is actually a really hard question because it makes you have to remember your trig. Yeah, I know, right? And it makes you have to remember your radicals. Now, here is the point I want to make. Whenever you see exact in math class, is your calculator coming out? No. Why? Because your calculator gives you estimates. The square root of 8 from your calculator is not the right answer. Understand? The square root of 8 is 2 root 2. That is the square root of 8. From now until the end of time in math class and calculus. In physics, you're not going to do that. In physics, you're going to work with estimates because you have to. All right? All right, so how are we going to figure out the length of x exactly? Talk amongst yourselves. Go.
Well, if you use sine.
Okay, so what do we know in here? What do I know about x? It's this distance, right?
Yeah.
And this distance, right?
Yeah.
Do I know this distance? No, but I know how to find it, don't I? Right? So I'm going to call this distance A. Everyone okay? Then what does that make this distance?
B.
B. Everybody cool?
B.
All right, what do I know about A? Well, I know that the tan of 30 equals opposite 40 over A, don't I? I know that, right? And do I also know the tan of 30? What is the tan of 30? 1 over root 3, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Which equals 40 over A. Agreed? How do I solve that? Cross multiply. A equals 40 root 3. Does everyone agree? Great. Now, what's B? Tan of 30 equals 30 over B, right? Tan of 30 is 1 over root 3 equals 30 over B. How do I solve that? Same thing. 30 root 3 equals B. Now, what do I know about A and B?
They're both root 3.
They're both root 3s, and all I got to do is add them up to get 70 root 3. Now, I heard somebody back there go, oh, when I said 70 root 3. Did that mean you did it right? Shut up, Bill. Are you trying to kid? You going to sell me a bridge somewhere too? Oh, Bill. Shucks. Really? Thanks. I was just doing that. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Now listen, guys. I actually need your input for a second here. I do. All kidding aside, I'm done pretending to fan my eyes, which I found out recently is not to dry tears. It's to keep your mascara from running. Somebody told me. I thought it was you. You honestly thought you could fan so fast that you would stop crying. That's what I thought it was. And then somebody said to me, "No, you idiot! So your mascara doesn't run." I said, "Oh, that makes way more sense."
What does this do?
Well, you wear glasses, so it doesn't really help. See, my eyes aren't drying out at all because I got eye protection on. But if you go like this, your eyes will dry out. Anyway, which is ironic because as soon as your eyes dry out, they produce more tears.
Just an endless cycle.
You should, yeah, I know, right? You should just tough it out or buy waterproof mascara, which I know exists.
It's horrible.
I hear it's hard to take off. I know because every so often I go surfing and you see the girls that forget to take off their makeup. Like girls that are so vain, they put makeup on to go to the beach to go surfing. And they come out of the water, you know, like Courtney Love back in the day. None of you even know who Courtney Love is, so never mind. Kurt Cobain's ex-wife. Kurt who? Never mind. And then you see the women that put on makeup, put on the waterproof stuff, and they come out of the surfing looking like a movie star from the 50s who comes out of the swimming pool perfect. She comes out full makeup still after being in surfing for an hour. And then you meet the girls that you really want to meet surfing who have no makeup on but forget their sunscreen. And gentlemen, if you're on the beach, let me tell you, there's a couple of things you should always have. When you're out at a bar, you should always have a lighter, just in case. Because if a girl needs a light, you're right there. Because some girls still smoke. I know, it's gross. But when you're at a beach, you should always have sunscreen. Because right at the trail to the beach, there's always a girl saying, oh my God, I forgot sunscreen. I have some right here. I always park when I go surfing right as close to the trail as I can. So the hot chicks in wetsuits walking by that are whining about not having... Who do you think I workshopped this stuff on, Beryl? The last time I did this, Catherine saw me. She was coming out of the bathroom. And I was like, and Catherine walks up to me, you just gave those girls sunscreen, didn't you? And I said, yep. She said, nice. Because she knows what's going on. I also recently found out yesterday, I'm so proud, my son informed me, well, he didn't inform me, he informed Catherine, because I don't know why he didn't tell me. He is being a wingman for one of his buddies. Because one of his buddies can't talk to girls. And my son is like, I got you, Riley. And my son tells him, he says, when she does this, you need to do this. And my son's words, I think I'm doing a pretty good job. They're still together 3 weeks later. Because in grade 7, 3 weeks, I guess they do week-anniversaries in grade 7. I don't know. But I was very happy. The only thing that would make me happier would be, of course, if my son had a girlfriend. But baby steps. But that's from seeing, I don't have my sunscreen. And if you're really slick, you're like me, you gots two. You gots the waterproof cream in case they really care, and then you gots the spray if they're just in a rush to get out there. Which, of course, I had. Both. We should do a field trip. I should take you guys all surfing. Not the girls. Can't take the girls. Because you don't need the help. They need the help. I work with teenage boys every day. Okay, no. Seriously. I don't even know how this started. Well, I do know how this started. I'm an idiot.
How did it start?
Your input. I need your input.
How did they get to sunscreen?
I don't know. I could play it back. I recorded that whole thing. Where was? Oh yeah. Okay, I need your input, guys. Listen. Jazz hands. Showbiz. Tomorrow, I'm obviously not going to be here. We already have covered that. I have an assignment for you about adding and simplifying radicals. I'm going to give that to you, okay? Well, I'm not, obvious. I'm not going to teleport back here and give that to you. The sub is going to give that to you. Now, but, I also said that you guys should watch a video tomorrow night so you could do Friday's assignment. Okay? Now, here is what I propose. We have 23 minutes left in class. I could blow through your next set of notes and give you no time to work on this so you see it all once. And there'd still be video there for you to work on it on Friday. Should I do that, or do you want time to work on adding and subtracting now and do your textbook work in class? You'd rather have that and then just watch the video on Thursday night? Cool, that's all I wanted. I just wanted your input. Okay.